Is Schroeder supposed to be playing all the music on the show? Is it like diegetic?
I don't know.
If we pulled back just a little bit from the doghouse or the football field, would Schroeder just be like...
Sure, why not? Yes.
Schroeder.
What about Schroeder?
I don't know. He's white.
Yeah, so? I don't know. Wow.
You ever go back and read those old strips where they introduce Franklin to the strip?
No, I don't think I have.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Okay.
I call it the Rickles philosophy.
Oh boy.
Which is when everyone gets a seat at the table, you can make fun of everybody.
Oh, okay.
You can't make any fun of anybody who's outside the room, who's not sitting down at the table, or whatever.
Sure.
So it's just like Franklin moves to town, and we learn about Franklin, and Charlie Brown is like, "Well, it's good to see you, Franklin." He stopped short of, "You're a credit to your race." But and then once Franklin's established, then we start. We start in. Patty's got a few things to say about him. Nothing, not like anti racial screeds or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
But it's like they got a lot of mileage out of the fact that he wanted to be a hockey player, and he was pretty good at it. He worked hard at it. And Patty's like, "Yeah, how many black NHL players are there?"
Oh, wow.
And it's that like cynicism that's baked into Peanuts, what makes people like it so much.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, just a little. I don't know. I wonder how people would react to that today. Clearly, they would say nothing. And just stare at me is what they would do.
I don't know. I haven't read them.
We're going to get a chance to find out, baby. Why? They're only printed 30 years before your birth. We're going to get a chance to find out, baby, because the Snoopy Show will be premiering this February at Apple Plus.
Now, do you mean like it's like a whole new cartoon?
I'm talking about...
That doesn't mean anything to me. They could just bring the music back.
I'm talking about... I mean, I'm not privy to their writer's room and what they've got on the cork board as far as ideas, but it looks like... You know how like The Simpsons, you go back to the old Simpsons and it's like... it's hand-drawn and it's a little... it's hand-drawn animation and it's in 4:3 ratio. And then now season 31, you watch The Simpsons and it's... A computer has turned this into an HD 4K kind of thing. That's what it looks like. It's the same style, the same color palette, all the same animation. It's just, it just looks like a modern cartoon.
Okay. All right. I mean, from what I remember of the specials and stuff like that I've seen of Peanuts, I really liked Peanuts.
And in this particular article, and I won't put any particular thing on blast, but they're like, this is good. It's a delightful return to an earlier era, of pleasant cartoons. It's like, oh, you sweet summer child. Your birth is more than 30 years away from the debut of Peanuts, isn't it? Because that's never been what Peanuts is about. Peanuts is about grief, be it good or bad.
Well, that's
Peanuts
true.
is about pain, and Peanuts is about just misunderstanding and being a balding kid at 8.
Yes.
That's what Peanuts is about.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it can't be positive. I'm not saying it can't be cute or uplifting, but that's not.
I think it's those things.
It ain't
as well.
She-Ra. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. Like it's just a weekly checklist for us to make sure you make fun of Apple Plus, but. I'm actually kind of looking forward to this because I love the Peanuts. I grew up on the Peanuts.
Yeah, one of my
Charles
absolute
Schultz is
favorites was
just semi-problematic character, but we won't talk about him.
Okay,
but yeah, like it was as a young creator, he was a guy who had a lot of this in him and wanted to put it on the page and not talk down to kids and deliver them the sort of Borscht Belt kind of comedy that you'd get.
Well, and from what I understand, he put a lot of himself into Charlie Brown.
Yeah, and what I want to know is, are they going to do the sort of traditional structure of Peanuts, which is, before they really went into the long form,
the specials.
You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown Christmas, this Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
My favorite is Flash Beagle.
It's basically, Hee Haw took this all the way to the bank, but it's just little vignettes. You know,
Oh,
little
sure.
scenes that are essentially 3 or 4 panels, maybe a little longer. And it's, boy, you just can't get a good kumquat these days or whatever. And then it's like, well, don't you think the kumquats are saying? That don't sound the same. You know, boop, move on to the next thing. They're behind the wall.
Right.
Then they're at the psychologist booth. You know,
Right.
then they're at Sumi's doghouse. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I want.
Yeah. I'd like that too.
How are they going to screw it up?
Oh boy,
We'll
I
let
don't
you
know. Yeah.
in the future with our
Yeah.
review of the Snoopy show, which I think is that what it's called?
Is that what it's called?
All right,
Because
title's not great,
it's
but-
weird because like I think people know it as Charlie Brown, even though I think that the actual strip was called the Peanuts. You know, but
Yeah.
people know Snoopy too as a character.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's the Peanuts.
yeah. Okay.
Well, they have to introduce a new character, right? Because it's a new generation. They're not quite like the Muppets in that way, but they do introduce new characters.
Sure.
So it's going to be a live streaming
Live streaming.
young girl
Who's-
or
okay.
transgender person who is
Asian or something like that. I'm just trying to make it more diverse. What?
What is Marcy, by the way? Did we ever canonize that?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Wasn't Marcy the person who was maybe Asian?
She has glasses.
You know what?
I don't
the world
know.
needs peanuts.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I need peanuts. Y'all MFers need peanuts.
Yeah.
So let's find out. I want to talk about one more thing before we actually open the show, just so it doesn't get mixed up in other stuff. But I wanted to announce what everybody knows by now, which is virtuoso guitarist Eddie Van Halen has passed away at the age of 65.
Yes. Really,
That's too young.
it was way too young.
Even for rockers live longer these days.
Yeah, he had a very long battle with cancer,
Yeah.
and from what I've read from some articles, it sounded like he had a bunch of different health problems, some of which he beat, previous bouts with cancer, and
Yeah.
You know,
he just
and-
got unlucky, genetically. He just
Yeah.
got so that bullet you can't dodge. But,
Yeah.
just by all accounts, just a nice guy, a guy
Yeah.
with so much enthusiasm for his work.
I mean, you just look at any of their music videos;
Well-
they all look like they're having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Well, I mean, I think we sort of look, Sufjan Stevens goes home and has a kombucha at the end of his show, right? Like
Sure.
we look down on that kind of lifestyle now. All the horror stories about what happened on the Zeppelin tour bus.
Sure.
If you're smart, you turn it around and you make it like new content, right? Like The Dirt, the story of Motley Crue and all the horrible things that they did to women. That definitely existed in the Van Halen space. I'm not going to try to defend that, but seems like they weren't quite as bad as some of those other bands that I mentioned.
Yeah.
And, just forgetting that for a second if we can, just a guy who came into the space, and it's like I would compare him to Picasso. It's one of those guys that arrived on the scene and went, well, I've got all this already. I know all this stuff. So where do I go now?
Right.
And just totally revolutionized rock and roll at that time, just in the delivery and construction of his solos.
Yes.
And he was also a guy who didn't just play guitars, but he knew them inside and out. And he was something of a sonic engineer, and he built new guitars and even up to the point, the month before he died, he was still
That's
in his
incredible.
shop, building amps and building new types of guitars and new delivery systems. And so a guy that just ate, slept, and breathed music.
Yes.
And also you could hook a carabiner on his belt and just throw him across the stage. And just they're all doing backflips. And,
Yeah. Right.
yeah. So, yeah, you listen to any one of his solos as compared to just like, oh, it's a guitar solo, but it just comes in and it's just like we're in a different world now. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just going all over the place. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely had his own signature style.
Yeah.
Um,
And, if you like Beat It, you like Michael Jackson's Beat It,
Yeah.
probably the hardest rock song on Thriller.
Yeah.
It's on Thriller, right?
I think so.
It's been 40 years. It's been so long.
I don't know.
But I mean, basically, kind of like Stealth wrote basically the entire song,
Yeah.
basically. But
Yeah.
huge hit for Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And just sent him to the stratosphere, and also was good for him too. So
I didn't read the article, but I think like, either he was, I think maybe he did the Back to the Future guitar solo, and like people didn't find out about that until after he passed. Like, it wasn't something that he really was like,
It wouldn't
it's
surprise
just
me.
a silly thing that I did. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It would be. I always wonder, like, when you've got a speedster character like the Flash or like Quicksilver or something like that, and it's like, oh no, Mom's going to be home any second. We got to clean this place up, and it's like, it's pristine. You know,
Yeah.
he steam cleaned the carpets.
Right.
He has to live through all that in real time, right?
I guess.
So he wouldn't just snap back and the place is clean. He's like, okay, quick, hide. Like, he spent 9 hours
Just
fluffing
really
up
fast.
the cushions, cleaning all the walls,
Yeah,
going
right.
out to the thing, renting a rug doctor, bringing it back,
Yeah.
steam cleaning the carpets.
Returning it.
Yeah, and then like you don't want them to be wet when Mom walks in, so he must have also like blew dry all the carpets,
Yeah,
or
right.
mopped everything up. So he's ready for bed at that point.
Yeah, probably.
So that's how I feel about Eddie Van Halen playing the playing the Back to the Future guitar thing.
okay.
Or do you mean it's just like, so bored, I could be doing 1/64th notes. Do you mean the Enchantment Under the Sea, Buddy Holly, not Buddy Holly, Marvin Berry stuff, the solo?
Well, I didn't actually read the article, but
Okay.
I thought...
Well, let's not talk about it.
I
then.
thought
What
it
a
was
waste of time
the
this was.
solo.
I apologize to the audience.
Whatever.
But yeah, okay. So anyway, Eddie Van Halen, legend, will be missed. Sammy Hagar still alive somehow. We're the Just Enough Show podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
And we're here to bring you all the news that's fit to cast in the world of nerdy entertainment. That's just a weekend for us. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And we're here to do it. And we're going to do it. Here's something else we're going to do. It's controversial.
Yeah.
I know that you were very reluctant to do this.
Yes, for a multitude of reasons, but also it's not really nerdy. So,
Well, God, let's look at what the stories that are coming up.
yeah, okay.
Let's see. Charlie Brown, that's in our past. And Netflix shows, Amazon shows, Cleopatra, super nerdy, right? History nerd.
Sure.
So we don't always do hardcore nerd stuff.
I guess.
So it's a programming thing. That's your number one objection.
No, it's not. Why don't we tell the audience what it is?
I
and they
feel like
can
Eddie Van
decide.
Halen playing the Back to the Future song when I talk to you sometimes. We're going to talk about Netflix's Cuties.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the film itself. We're going to talk about the controversy. We're going to talk about the recrimination, the lawsuits. And that's where I should say we're going to talk about the film itself. The thing that the thing that everybody and how angry they are is not talking about. That's what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
And talk about whether it is a positive force or a negative force in the world.
I do.
I am the Eddie Van Halen of mouth. I have the mouth of a lightning bolt Eddie Van Halen guitar. So now it's time for me to bring this solo to a close and hand it back to David Lee Roth.
Okay. Oh, am I David Lee Roth?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you have to go, wow!
Right.
Ease the seat back.
Oh my gosh. I guess I feel bad for there's a Clementine company named Cuties. I feel bad for them.
Cuties stock.
You know,
drops.
So like they just want to sell you delicious clementines. They don't want to be messed up in this controversy. So
I ain't got nobody. These, keep David Lee Roth probably 2 thumbs up,
yeah,
100%.
what?
On Cuties.
100%. Wow. Okay. Wow.
He loves the 7th arrondissement girls.
What?
It's in Paris. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Should we just go to the news?
Yes.
Here it is. Let's talk about some movie news. I mentioned just briefly before the word Cleopatra. That Cleopatra will be played by Gal Gadot.
Okay.
She's teaming with Patty Jenkins for
Okay.
a Cleopatra film at Paramount Studios. Oh no! At the end, we just dropped. Oh, it fell off right at the end.
All right. Well, I was going to say this could be good. Do you think that people will be... So Cleopatra is Egyptian.
She's probably not 6'2", but
yeah.
anyway.
Egypt is in Africa. Do you think that people? I know that there are people like who are like, Cleopatra should be portrayed as being more black.
Here's the real thing, right? These are all little points, and then there's one thing that's in bold and it's underlined, and that is a Jew is going to play an Egyptian. That's
why didn't I think of that right away?
Yes, that's the real problem here. Now, I don't really have a problem with it if that reveals that I don't understand the context. I'm willing to hear an argument, but it's not like Bryce Dallas Howard playing her. Do you know what I mean? I think Jews and Egyptians don't want to admit it, but there's more shared genetic history there.
No, I would agree with that.
With Bryce Dallas Howard, for instance.
Yes.
All that being said, Cleopatra was, and her whole family were probably very light-skinned, very white.
Sure.
Because the Romans had been, and the Greeks before them had been living there for a long time. And even in Egypt, there's a upstairs, downstairs thing going on with light-skinned people and dark-skinned people. And so they were like a ruling class that was descended from, Greek conquerors and whatnot, and like Ptolemy. Her brother was named Ptolemy, but a lot of the monarchs were named Ptolemy. But so I mean, like, you can get away with her being light skinned if you don't care about like a DNA test for casting.
Yeah,
but I think that what I mentioned is going to be a bigger deal.
I think you're right. I think that is going to be a bigger deal, and I think there are going to be a lot of people, probably namely Jewish people, who are not excited about.
I think Egyptian people will be unexcited about a Jewish woman, an Israeli, a Sabra, playing one of their cultural heroes.
No, you're right.
I'm not excited about Paramount running this. This isn't just like, well, it landed at Paramount. This project was at the center of a bidding war between Apple, Universal, Warner Brothers. Everybody wanted the script, and it landed at Paramount. And Paramount, they've got Transformers movies. They've still got some money laying around.
Mm.
But why this?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a story about how when Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone were warring at the box office, and not just with gun grunting man gun movies. That's what that was supposed to be,
right?
But also like when Schwarzenegger's moving into comedy and he's like starting to show comedy chops, and hey, what you know about Oliver?
Yeah,
no,
right.
Not Oliver. What was that? That movie called that he did? I don't know. He's like, I do comedy all the time.
Yeah.
So they were both trying to get like these comedy roles, and there's a movie called Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Yep.
Where the hero was a LA cop, and his mom, played by Estelle Getty, was like, always, Mom, why are you in the backseat of the squad car? No, you forgot to eat your wheat cakes or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And Schwarzenegger pranked Stallone by bidding on this, or just, he doesn't bid, I guess, but like showing his interest, saying he was going to do it. And then Stallone's like, well, I got to do it then. So it's like, oh, no, I got a lot of good ideas. I love my mom. And at the last second, Schwarzenegger pulled out, and Stallone was stuck playing in Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
And the movie didn't do that well.
No, it was a laughingstock. And Schwarzenegger probably had sex with his housekeeper all the way to the bank,
Gross.
On that joke. So that's how this feels to me.
Oh, if it feels like somebody did a prank.
It feels like Apple, Universal, Warner Brothers, all the major studios got together and like they've seen the script. It's crap. We know that Paramount doesn't know what a crappy script looks like, and they thought it's totally going to tank, and so they all like agreed to not wear the same outfit that day, and then took one step back, and Paramount was stuck holding the bag. So,
I mean,
that's what I think.
I like Gal Gadot and I like Patty Jenkins. I don't know. I do. So far, anyways. Her acting, not necessarily,
You're just with the home team.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't want the letters. Send them to me, Hana. Speaking of film news, they've got this movie. It's called Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings or whatever.
Yes.
It's going to come out someday. We don't know.
Yes.
But we are getting content, let's say, from the star of the film, Simu Liu, who has been in the news before for his fun time tweeting style. I like this guy.
Yeah, he's got chops.
And What chops? He's got pot stirring chops.
Yeah.
For a guy who, to be honest, I've probably seen him somewhere, but I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. Who is the first, Asian fronting a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie?
Yes.
I'm not saying just chill out. He ain't chilling out.
No.
And I love the fact that he's real bold and he's going for it.
Yeah.
And he responded recently to a casting notice from Palladino Casting, who's looking for extras for the film. They, in this press release that he shared on Twitter, are asking for Chinese or Korean people whose eyes are, although almond-shaped, not too downturned eyes, no monolid, end quote.
Yeah.
And Simu Lu went on Twitter and was like, Palladino Casting, blank you.
Yeah.
Signed, a proudly monolithic Asian.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't say that I blame him. I can't believe that they actually wrote that in a casting call thing. I mean, I know that some casting calls are pretty bad, but that's... What the hell?
I'm not defending casting calls, but they literally do just that. They don't care anything about you, your life, who you are.
No.
They have a picture in their mind, and if you fit it, you're in.
Yeah, but why put that specific thing, no monolids, in the in the actual call?
They also put for boys and girls casting, Chinese or Korean descent, joyful, smiling, and cute, hair black or dark brown, skin tone clean, white, and pinky.
Yeah, pinky. What the heck is pinky?
No dots or circles.
So no birthmarks? What does that mean?
I don't know. It means racism. Is what it means.
Yes.
The secret
It's
ingredient
awful.
is racism.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really not cool.
So, I don't like that.
No.
And I wish that Marvel would take a hand in this.
I wish
Do you know
I
what I mean?
would too.
Like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
What does it
exactly.
matter? Who cares?
Yeah.
It's going to be set in Hong Kong.
Is it really?
It has to, right?
I don't know.
I don't know the story at all because Shang-Chi is a cool character, but he is so tied to his kind of chopsaki Asian exploitation roots.
Sure.
That I don't know how they're going to update the story. Well, in terms of Disney and films, we've got a Space Mountain live-action movie in the works at Disney.
What? Like another movie off of a ride? Is that what's happening?
You right. You ride.
No. I mean, I know Pirates of the Caribbean was very successful, but what are you going to do for freaking Space Mountain?
I don't know.
Is it going to be like, oh, Space Mountain, we got to get to Space Mountain, and when they get there, they have to ride a log down a waterfall or something like that? Is that what it's going to be?
I know you'll take offense at this. It's not intended to offend, but you sounded like Donald Trump describing what it's like at Disney World, and I think that's amazing.
Wow.
You go to Space Mountain, and you're on Space Mountain, and you gotta go, whoa, you go, whoa, down the Space Mountain, folks, we love it.
Wow.
That's what it sounded like.
Okay. All right, great. Thanks so much. Okay.
He's a producer and writer, has worked on the Guy Ritchie King Arthur movie.
Sure.
That's about it.
Okay.
And he's got 10 upcoming projects.
That's a lot.
So The Flash,
Yeah.
Space Invaders. I don't know if that's just an adaptation of the
video
Atari game
game
or if it's the I Am Legend reboot.
Oh boy.
Space Mountain, something called Love Canal, although it's directed by Patricia Arquette, so maybe it's not as bad as it sounds.
Okay.
The Ridley Scott directed Battle of Britain movie, which I'm going to see. It's going to be a late period Scott, but untitled Bumblebee Universe installment, so...
Wow.
Let's do a little, oh no, ramming speed, the Star Trek Enterprise crashed into us. This is so Paramount, and this is so Star Trek, current Star Trek, where it's like, who's the best guy for the job? Doesn't matter. We've got a personal writer on a leash.
Yeah, right.
And he'll just do whatever we need him to do.
Yeah, right.
And it won't be any good Because I don't really know what that word means. Like G-O-O-D. Is that like, are you saying God, but it's like a long way to say God? Like they have no idea what quality is.
No.
But they know that they've got a team of people who's
Yes.
ready to work.
Yeah.
And people like Patricia Arquette, people like Ridley Scott should go, no.
Right.
No.
Give me somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, I want this to premiere in theaters. Of course
Yeah.
I do. But I'd rather go to, say, Netflix, where they'll go, holy shit, Patricia Arquette.
Yeah.
How's 20 million sound? And
Right.
we won't talk to you until it's done.
Right.
Do that.
Yeah.
People need to resist. People need to resist. The
Yeah.
hashtag resist bad writing, bad directing.
Yeah, I agree. And be more involved and like I don't know, maybe they didn't ask them. Like do you get asked? Like, is this okay for this person to direct? Do you get asked or are you just told this person is directing?
I think it depends on who you are, but I bet you get told.
Yeah.
Well, we made a meal out of 2.5 stories so far. I'll say real quick on the movie side that Benedict Cumberbatch has been confirmed, 99% confirmed, that he will be playing Doctor Strange in the next Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
Once again,
Yeah.
attention is required going forward. We need to figure this out.
Uh-huh.
Bad year. Everybody's just going to write this year off.
Yeah.
2021, the first success Disney has, makes $500 million. Just sign that check to Sony and go, let's just put it on the table here.
I know, right?
Because you guys are going to be back asking us for help again. Why are we doing this? Tell you what.
Because Sony is
How's
like
5 billion
they don't want to
sound?
let it go. They just do not want to let it go.
But how's $5 billion sound? You
Yeah,
might make
well.
$5 billion in 10 years off of your terrible, terrible Spider-Man and Spider-Man related movies.
But all of the Spider-Man related movies that they have in the works, so many.
Right, but I'm just saying, if Disney just wrote a check for $5 billion, that would be go back and put 1, 2, 3, Amazing 1 and 2. What did we ever find out what the split was with the Holland films? I can't remember.
I don't know.
But like $5 billion would be a sizable percentage of what they would stand to make in revenue, box office wise, off
Yeah.
of those films. But
Yeah.
then put the budget in, put the P&A in, promotion, all that other stuff. Take the money.
Yeah, well,
You could spend a lot of money and make some money, or just take this money and build a new studio. Do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Actually, how much for the studio right now? Disney just buys Sony.
wow.
Just so we can get a better Spider-Man universe. I'm excited about this. Of course, both Steve Ditko characters, who I think have had, they've had some interactions in the comics, some written by Ditko back in the day, and some modern ones. And there's just always something, I don't know. I feel like they're a good pair. They're a good odd couple.
Well, I mean, we did see them interact a little bit in
Tiny bit.
in
Little
the I think it was Infinity
I think
War.
their dust got mixed together.
Yeah. He was like, I'm Doctor Strange. Oh, are we? Yeah. They introduced each other, and it was
Yeah,
really
Joss
weird.
Whedon. Fine.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. It could be good. Do you think they're doing this because Iron Man isn't around anymore, and Holland is so young,
He
and
needs another mentor figure.
yeah, that's what I'm asking.
He's been through a lot.
He has been through a lot.
Let's pass that.
Oh, okay.
If the real Spidey had a mentor,
Yeah.
we would be in this situation. Do you know what I mean? Like his life would have turned out completely different.
Yeah.
Losing Uncle Ben, losing Jean DeWolf, losing Captain Stacy, all the people that he lost. Forget it. Why? No.
Okay.
Whenever they got together in the comic books, it was always just, looks like I'll have to use my spider sense to find out what's going on here. I put a spider tracer on this punk, and I followed him to this weird place, the old Parker Luck. And then Doctor Strange is like in astral form behind him, like, is this an adversary? Or, but the Wand of Watum knows that Doctor Strange will defend the Earth from...
Sure.
and then somehow they end up kind of helping each other, and it's just like, wow, that was weird.
Right.
I don't want any listen up, Spidey. I want you to listen to me. I don't know anything about chakras or third eyes,
Right.
but you have to do your homework.
Right. Okay. All right.
Dumb.
Well, we'll see.
Don't want it.
All right.
You know what I want? I
What?
want the Ancient One back. Why'd they feel they had to kill the Ancient One? They brought her back too. They're like, she's awesome. Let's bring her back.
Because they're like Highlander. There can only be one. I don't know. But it was like,
well, blame Cargill. For
yeah,
that.
right. So I don't know. They could bring her
got
back
a lot
somehow.
of things to say.
Yeah.
Never see him again. What else is going on in the world of movies? We're almost done. I said to you the other day, 2021 and I guess 2022 are going to be wild.
Yeah.
How many, like the Oscars in 2022 are going to be insane because
there'll be a lot of films. Yeah.
So many movies are going to come out.
I mean, as long we don't know when they're going to open up again.
And that is, well, yeah, I mean, 2030 might be hot.
Yeah,
Who knows?
right.
But yeah, Marvel and DC movies will be flooding theaters in 2021 and 2022. Here's the problem at this point. Once the boat regatta horn goes off, they've got to make all these things. Right. And we're looking at a sort of situation where we have to make them within a window because if the COVID numbers go up again, or the first PA that coughs into a latte, we're shut down again.
Yeah.
So it's going to be this like hurry up and go, hurry up and wait situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they're going to try to complete as many of these as possible, but who knows, what they're going to get off before they have to stop again.
Right. And things will probably move around some more too. Yeah. If they can't get filming and everything done on time.
Yeah. Like Batman, for instance, because of the little achoo from Shovelface.
Shovelface.
Batman has been pushed back to a March 2022 release.
Yes.
March.
Uh-huh.
A Batman movie.
In March.
It's coming out in March.
Yeah.
Not even the world's greatest detective could figure that out.
I don't know. Maybe we won't have... I mean, it's better than January or February, but yeah, I don't know. It's
March.
Weird. It's weird.
Yeah. Dune has been pushed back to October 2021.
See, what I read when I heard about that was...
I was always surprised that we were going to get it so soon.
That Dune got pushed back to that date. That was Batman's original date.
Yeah,
so then Batman had to move.
Yeah.
But I don't know why it got moved to March. That much I can't tell you.
They're trying to stay out of the way of other superhero releases, probably. But my thing is, like, it's Batman. People are going to come see Batman.
Well, it'll do really well. It'll probably be
it'll clean up in March.
It'll probably be one of the best releases in March in history.
Right, which, like Deadpool did that. Like, Valentine's Day, the first Deadpool became the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. But the industry doesn't like doing that. They like they're like LL Cool J from Toys. They want their peas on this part of the plate. They want their mashed potatoes over here and their meatloaf there. Like, they don't want to do balls out. They don't release Fast and the Furious movies in February.
Yeah, I know.
Because they just want it there. So I don't know. But we'll see. TV, that's where the hot shit is at. I said it. We've talked a lot, or we've heard a lot, about the Animaniacs reboot. And now we've seen a teaser clip on Hulu.
Oh, I haven't seen the teaser clip yet.
They do a little kind of riff on Jurassic Park. It's fine.
It's fine.
I mean, like how funny they're going to be in a little teaser, but it seems like sure, solid.
I've seen like a side-by-side comparison of the three main Animaniacs characters.
It's a Cal art style.
I mean, it's really wow.
I'd like to pull the teeth out of anybody who's ever said that.
It's not that different, but they did change it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, yeah. Anyways, I loved Animaniacs when it came out. Sure. What about Wacko?
No, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
You're in control.
All right.
You have the control.
I threw it back to you, but all right.
Well, then I'd say that Cary Fukunaga is going to direct the Band of Brothers follow-up, Masters of the Air.
Oh.
I'm actually kind of surprised Cary Fukunaga is doing it, because I guess we don't have any returns on James Bond because this movie's never going to come out. But he made it. He's in the show,
Yeah.
And like when Tom Hanks is like, "Do you want to do an HBO miniseries?" That's all fun. Like, you have to want to do that, right? That's not something that you do. That's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah, I know.
But I think it's cool. He's a great director. He's gonna be great. Plus, this is Cars in the Air, basically, right? It's going to be about the Army Air Corps and the RAF and the Battle of Britain and all that sort of
It's
stuff.
interesting, too, because with his last name, I'm guessing he's Japanese. So
you think that. And I don't want to make any judgments about anybody, but he's got a real white-looking face and hair. Simalu, I'm sorry.
Wow.
You weigh in, Simalu.
Okay.
But
I'm just saying.
I don't know anything about his life, but
Okay.
I saw a picture of him, and it's like, could swap him for Jason Clarke, and maybe nobody know the difference.
Wow. Okay. Well, anyways.
Speaking of white,
interesting.
Speaking of Asian people who may or may not be white, Netflix has ordered an animated action series, Blue-Eyed Samurai, which will star Maya Erskine, George Takei, Masaoka, and Randall Park.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Blue-Eyed Samurai. I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, it features a mixed-race master of the sword.
That's interesting. I wonder how many Japanese people are going to be excited about that. But I think that's interesting, and has the potential to be really good.
What's interesting to me is that it is it's starring Maya Erskine, who is a actress and comedian who is on the Hulu show Pen 15.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I don't. Will this be a funny show?
I don't know. You had potentially. That's a good question.
Yeah, it'll be set 400 years ago in Edo period Japan.
Oh, okay. Huh.
And yeah, it will be a woman who is a mixed race master of the sword, who is just trying to live her life. Probably
I find this very fascinating. I wonder how people are going to be
as
excited
a man
about this, but yeah,
going around probably solving right and wrongs and that sort of thing.
You
ever watch Pen 15?
I have not. Have you?
I need a second opinion.
Oh, okay. I guess I need to watch it then.
I feel like it's very well made. It's set in the the premise of it.
Not really. No.
Maya Erskine and other lady whose name I can't remember. And I feel kind of bad about that. Play themselves as children. So it's set in the year 2000, but they are 30-year-old women.
Okay.
And everybody else in the cast is a kid.
Is a kid.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So you're like, okay, let's see if we can stretch that out past the level of a Living Color sketch or a Mad TV sketch. Mm-hmm. And they do, but it's not, I don't know. Guess my new thing is complaining about comedies that they're not funny enough, I guess. But there isn't like a real jokes.
Yeah,
It's more just kind of cringe humor. And
Okay.
also, I think it leans a lot on the strangeness of having like two adults, fight over a cigarette, with a bunch of like 8th graders. So
Okay.
I'm kind of like, I don't know, I've only seen a couple episodes,
Okay.
and I'm sort of waiting to see what's the payoff, like what's the Pokemon evolution of this premise?
Right.
Because so far, like you've executed that premise perfectly, but it's just like kind of Wonder Years with an adult Fred Savage as Fred Savage.
Right. Okay.
And what's the next level that I'm sure it'll take it to? I just haven't got there yet.
I understand what you're saying.
But yeah, but I guess I'd recommend it. Just so you can tell me if it's funny or not.
Tentatively, yeah, right, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out then.
Something I know you're going to check out is the Obi-Wan Kenobi show on Disney Plus, which is set to begin filming in March, according to series star Ewan McGregor. He said, "We're going to start filming in March." That was like Ringo Starr.
It kind of was, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
whatever.
all good. Well, I have to say, I really like the Mandalorian series on Disney Plus a lot. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with Obi-Wan. And I'm a big Ewan McGregor fan, so I don't know. We'll see. But I don't really like the prequels that much.
How much DNA, it's all about DNA today.
It is.
How much DNA will it share with The Mandalorian, do you think?
That's a great question. I guess it kind of depends on like who, the creatives behind the scenes are, for it, and like, how much they want. Like, I don't even know, like, when is it supposed to take place in his life? I just don't even know that
I
information.
bet it will take place after the original trilogy and before the
Oh,
sequels.
yeah, I guess you're probably
In the
right. That makes
interregnum.
sense. Yeah, so maybe he's like, maybe there's a young Luke Skywalker who's kind of tacitly keeping his eyes on.
Don't do it. Don't. They did that in the Obi-Wan comic book, or maybe it was a flashback in the Star Wars Jason Aaron thing. But they had like a young child Luke, like assassins showed up to kill him, so Obi-Wan had to come in and take out these. And it's like, there's this. Why are there 4 planets in the Star Wars galaxy? Maybe 3. There are so many things. Yeah, he has to watch over Luke, but this is a good hiding spot.
Yeah.
So you have the tension of somebody somehow tracks down Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he's trying to watch Luke, and they're like, Lord Kenobi or Jedi Kenobi or whatever his title is, we've got a problem. You have to do this. And he's like, I'm supposed to watch this kid. And it's like, but this seems like a good cause. The kid will be fine. Yeah. Right? And so he's like supposed to babysit, but he has to keep sneaking out to do all these other jobs.
Yeah. I can see
Leave
that.
the Luke out of it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I say.
All right. Well, there you go.
When is Sebastian Stan going to agree to do the older Luke Skywalker show? The post original trilogy. Mm-hmm. So okay, sorry. Roll it all the way back.
Yeah.
Mandalorian set after Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Obi-Wan show set after the prequels.
Yes.
Sebastian Stan plays Luke Skywalker in the same time as the Mandalorian. He's getting the Jedi Temple running. He's righting wrongs.
I think that
and
could
doing
be
stuff.
really interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I'd watch that.
Same company.
Yeah, sure.
They're just transferring departments. He gets a new job description.
Right.
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, right. I think that works.
Already looks like him.
Speaking of Sebastian Stan, I heard that Disney Plus is pushing back the Winter Soldier Falcon TV series until 2021.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Did we talked about off mic, we talked about this, that whatever the release schedule was for the shows is just boinked now. And they have to release them, obviously, depending on the production and if they're completed and where they're at. But also, I think each one of them represents another piece in the No, not interchangeable. I think each one of them represents a piece of the puzzle that will be spooled out. Because remember the Loki show?
Yes.
I don't know where we're at on that, but they showed us a little bit. And like I said, I don't know if they've filmed the whole thing, but I think the Loki show is going to be a huge part of the multiversal aspect that they want to set up with Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
And so they have to release the Wanda one right now.
They are going to release it this year, they said.
No, I know, but that's why they're doing it. So we have to establish the status quo for Wanda and Vision, I guess, if he's going to come back, and I don't know why he wouldn't. So she can be in the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
And we have to get the new Captain Marvel set up because we want to get to work on Captain Marvel 2 and get that out there. And Monica Rambeau will be a part of that.
Yes.
So that one has to go out first.
Yes.
That also takes place in a no space. What time is it? We don't know.
Right.
The Winter Soldier Falcon one, I think you could just put that anywhere, right? And so that one's on the back burner.
Right.
And the Loki one, if the Loki one he's going to be doing all these things in time in the multiverse, you have to have the multiverse established. So that one is going straight to the back of the queue.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that all makes sense. Yes.
It's Hawkeye, we don't know.
Yeah, Ms. Marvel.
Speaking of comic book TV shows, a Green Lantern series is got a green light at HBO Max. So Warner Brothers is just really tripling, quadrupling down. It will be developed by Seth Grahame-Smith and Mark Guggenheim. So I'm the kombucha lady, right? And I'm like, and then I'm like, ugh.
I'm not a fan of Seth Grahame-Smith. I don't remember the other guy from
Seth Grahame-Smith. Yeah, he's a guy who had one idea for a book, and then he became a very bad screenwriter. Mark Guggenheim wrote the original 2011 Green Lantern film.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Why? Why give it to this guy? That bombed.
Yep.
Why give it to that guy? And then Seth Grahame-Smith did Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which I did not enjoy.
And Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, Vampire Hunter.
Vampire Splitter.
Yeah.
We should call it Vampire Splitter.
He should. He should have. Is it going to? Do we know for sure? Is it going to be animated?
No, it won't be animated.
It won't be.
I don't believe so.
Oh, so it'll be live action.
Yep.
Okay.
It's going to feature. It's going to be what we've always wanted, and I bet Jeff Johns is like, God damn it!
Yeah.
Just a year earlier.
Yeah.
I would have had leverage, and they wouldn't have been able to fire me.
Yeah.
Or I could have given everything up just to stay on this show
Right.
that I clearly want to be a part of. I don't know. He might still. Who knows? I'm sure Mark Guggenheim is calling him every night. Like Trump calling Hannity. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be animated. It's going to feature Guy Gardner, probably Arisia, Kilowog, the Green Lantern Corps.
Sure.
That's what we've always wanted. It doesn't
Right.
matter if he's a guy in a little suit flying. That's not what makes Green Lantern interesting.
No.
It is his role as a universal protector, or at
Yes.
least our section of the universe, and his connection to the bureaucracy of the Guardians on Oa and the friends that he made along the way. It's a cop show.
Yes, it is. It is a cop show.
Think Hal Jordan would tear gas people? Just green tear gas?
Let's hope not. Let's hope he's more creative in like.
Can you believe there's a third
preventing-
season of American Gods? I didn't know that show was still on.
What? No, I did not know that.
Well, we won't talk about it then. What else is going on? We didn't talk about Jurassic World being delayed to 2022, but
Oh, okay.
that's fun. But speaking of large creatures, a Godzilla anime series is coming out on Netflix. I'm sure
What?
that's going to make a lot of people mad.
Probably, but I don't know. That could be fun.
It could be.
It has.
But
the
people are
potential
so
to be.
particular about anime and Godzilla.
I know, and since it's Netflix, I'm assuming it's American made, so people are they're not really anime.
Right. Shin Godzilla, that's the real Godzilla.
Right,
With
right.
this, crap with Quicksilver in it. Well, forget about all that, because if you like cars,
Yeah.
Warner Brothers has a deal for you. They're going to create a preschool series about DC cars for Cartoon Network and HBO Max. It's called Bat Wheels. The cars are alive, and they are their characters.
That's so weird.
So there's a Poison Ivy car. There's a Harley car. There's a Penguin mobile. And Batman is a Batmobile who is Batman. Grant Morrison is hard as a rock right now.
I don't like it, but maybe this is appealing
I love
to
it.
kids, So I'll just let them have it.
I don't know why Grant Morrison is Billy Connolly in my mind. I get the two mixed up all the time. Here's some bad news. Glow Season 4 has been canceled.
Uh-oh, why?
As far as I know, it was all ready to go, or at least mostly. And because of COVID restrictions, I think they had started filming or just started pre-production. And the first week, somebody got sick, and they're like, screw it, it's over.
Whoa!
No, I don't like Glow, but I think it deserves better than that.
That sucks. Like, you want to see... I think with any series, I mean, obviously not all
Netflix
series gets this.
Gets antsy.
I know,
They
but
want to
you
cancel
want,
stuff.
You want to be able to tell an ending to a story. With most series, I believe that's true. Even if a series gets canceled, you want to be able to be like, oh,
That's true. Some of the stars of the show are lobbying for a 2-hour movie to just sort of bring things
bring
to
the
bed,
story to an end.
get all of our lame jokes out.
Yeah. Well,
I don't really like the show, but like I said, I think
no.
they deserve better.
I didn't really either, but that's okay.
Well, here's some good news. Paddy Considine will star as King Viserys Targaryen in HBO's Game of Thrones prequel.
I have no idea who that is, but okay. We're finally getting some more news about that.
Yes. So this is the one that they went with. There was a Long Night, First Man one.
Yeah.
There was, I think, another one that was sort of not exactly locked down as to when or where it was going to be. And then there was this one, which is basically the Targaryen show.
Yep.
That was going to follow the Targaryens.
Yep.
And so it's set 300 years before, in the time of the earlier time. Viserys Targaryen is king. He rules with his two sister wives.
Cool.
And he is like the dragon rider. Mm-hmm. I think this is all true.
Okay.
I don't know this. I don't know this world all that well, except for the
that's all good.
shows. And he's depicted as, look behind you, right? Guy's a real dude.
Wow.
Guy's a real dude.
Okay. Yeah, he's making a face.
Him and his sister wives. Now look at Paddy Considine.
Just looks like a goofball.
A face like a baseball mitt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who, by the way, for me, he's my dramatic Oliver Reed. Maybe long time listeners to the show will know that Oliver Reed means bad movie.
Oh, okay.
Go on, test me.
I don't know much about Oliver Reed, so I don't know what's a movie he was in. But I got nothing.
Bulworth? Or not Oliver Reed. What's his name?
Oliver Platt?
Platt. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Whew.
I mean, Oliver Reed's been in some bad films, but he's been in some great films.
Yeah, okay.
Oliver Platt. He's comedy packing peanuts. But
so this guy is your canary in the coal mine. This is not going to be good.
Oliver Platt.
Yeah.
The Ice Storm.
I thought you actually kind of liked him.
No, The Ice Harvest.
Uh-huh.
Oh, see, no, The Ice Harvest is terrible. It's a terrible film, but he's the best part of it.
Yeah, right.
Three Musketeers.
Uh-huh.
Not a great Three Musketeers movie. I don't care that you grew up with it. I don't know, a bunch of stuff. The Bicentennial Man.
Yeah,
he's just,
right,
when you
I
need
know.
a guy who is like kind of officious and he is fat, and that's funny, right? And then he will be, and he's like, but no, we can't do something about that thing.
Yeah.
And then he's like, shut up. Frost Nixon.
Uh-huh.
Like maybe it's Ron Howard movies, but I just feel like when I see him in a film, I know, no good.
Yeah, no, I know. He's
And that's Patty Considine.
Oh, that's
I think
bad.
Hot Fuzz is the exception that proves the rule,
okay.
and that's about it.
All right. Wasn't there like another Game of Thrones show that they like shot the pilot of and then they canceled it?
That was the Naomi Watts one, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. What happened with that?
That's what I can't remember what sort of time period it's supposed to be set
either.
in. I think maybe that was the First Men, like ancient one.
Oh, okay.
They didn't want it. I'd love to watch it.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll ever
Maybe
get a
it'll
chance
leak or
to watch
something.
it. Yeah, right.
Well, we're almost done with our news here. It looks like, speaking of, we have Patty Considine. Mm-hmm. Constantine or Tin Film is going to do a Resident Evil reboot series. And
What?
the cool thing now that we know is we know some of the cast.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to hear about the cast of this Resident Evil series? It's going to be on Netflix.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I want to hear about the cast.
Well, it's going to adapt the first two games, and unlike the films, it's supposed to be adapting them relatively faithfully.
Okay.
We've got Kaya Scolodario as Claire Redfield.
Okay.
I got nothing for you.
Oh, okay.
She's a British actress. She's kind of cute.
Uh-huh.
Probably good casting for Claire. Uh-huh. I can't think of anything that you would know that she's been in.
Okay.
We've got Hannah John Kamen as Jill Valentine.
Okay.
She played Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Right.
She is multiracial. This will drive the fans insane.
I think fans need to get over themselves.
They absolutely do. Although I've never seen her be good in anything. I don't know if she'll be good.
Yeah, maybe they should be more mad about that than that she's not white. You know what I mean?
Robbie Amell, who is the brother of Stephen Amell, the Arrow,
okay. Yeah.
will play Chris Redfield.
Okay.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Chris Redfield's his archetype is just big dumb guy that punches boulders, right?
Yeah.
But it's a little too dumb. This is a little too dumb. Too dumb. Tom Hopper from the Umbrella Academy, that is the gorilla guy, the monkey guy.
Oh, yeah.
Will play Albert Wesker.
He's a big guy. At least they make him a big guy.
Don't swap it. Just fire Robbie Amell. Make Tom Hopper Chris Redfield.
Right.
Looks like we've got Avan Jogia, who I'm not familiar with, but he was in this Zombieland sequel, which I did not see. So there you go.
Oh, okay.
He'll be Leon Kennedy. He is as dark as his name would imply. So this will drive the internet insane.
Oh my God! Wow.
And Neil McDonough will be playing William Birkin.
Okay.
William Birkin is in Resident Evil 2. He is the guy who tries to steal the formula, turns into a monster.
Yeah, he turns into a monster. Yeah.
So, does this seem like bad high school play adaptation of Resident Evil? Now, before you answer, let me say that let's not fool ourselves. Resident Evil is a bad high school adaptation of a horror action game, film, whatever, you know.
Right.
Don't go.
Yeah, it's over
my
dramatic.
God.
Yeah, right. No, it's over dramatic and ridiculous.
It's already bad.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect you guys to like aim for the same outer ring of the bullseye. Why not go for the middle of the bullseye?
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you this: like, what do you think would how do you think an approach would best what would be the best way to do a movie adaptation of Resident Evil?
You're gonna plots, but check this out. I think Paul Thomas Anderson, or he wishes Paul W.S. Anderson had the right idea.
Yeah.
Up until the point that the movies started to completely go insane and make no sense. If he had taken that aesthetic, whether you want to add Alice, as a character in the films, or just maybe have Mia Jovovich be Jill Valentine or something, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But that like low budget kind of B movie aesthetic, that would have been perfect. Mm-hmm. And if you had just taken the crazy storyline of the video games and tried to make a little bit of sense, which I feel like they thought they were doing. Uh-huh. But then once you get into like the third or fourth movie, the series is insane and is just off the rails, and not in a fun way.
Yeah.
But that was perfect. Her, flipping off a motorcycle, shooting it. Like, I can't remember the guy that created Resident Evil, but he probably was like, yeah, man, that's it. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
But yeah, I just would have done that.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. This
Does this sound like a serious version of Resident Evil?
No,
okay.
This smacks of who we could get. Uh-huh. You could say about Cowboy Bebop that it's like, okay, all right, well, John Cho is it's kind of old, but he has kind of like an underground kind of cred. As you know, Danielle Pineda is a rising star in like indie film, so she's like, we can get her cheap,
right?
And then Faye Valentine is, Japanese or Asian anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So perfect. I don't even remember who else is in the show.
Yeah, right.
That seems like, what do we got? What are we working with? But also, what can we get?
Yeah.
This seems like, just
make it happen.
Send the offers out.
Yeah.
They'll say yes. Of course they will.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I'll watch it. I'll give it a chance, but I'm not necessarily terribly excited about it. So.
Me either.
Okay.
Me either. I'm still trying to figure out the right Viserys Targaryen, because it's not the guy from the show who gets his head boiled.
No.
Is it? It's not. Is it the grandson of Aegon the Conqueror?
Maybe.
Do I have to read these books?
Oh God.
I really don't want to read these books.
Just don't.
Thank you. I won't. Thank you.
I'm giving you permission yet again to not read those books.
I appreciate
You
that.
tried reading them once.
I appreciate that. As we move on to our main subject, let's talk about Amazon and their Lord of the Rings series.
Okay.
And if it will be horny or not.
Why do you think it'll be horny?
When you thought about a Lord of the Rings series produced by Amazon in the wake of and the shadow of the Peter Jackson movies, good and bad, what were you thinking? You were thinking, oh, we've got to stop. We got to get the Silmarils or whatever.
I don't know. Yeah,
right?
I just thought it would be like more of the same, except not Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, check out this casting notice from New Zealand, where they have resumed filming. The call reads, "Comfortable with nudity? Up to $500 per day. Use reference nude. We need new people based in Auckland. Age 18 plus. All shapes and sizes. Intimacy guidelines will always be followed on set."
Great. Weird.
The production has hired an intimacy coordinator. So whatever you thought, damn what you thought.
I don't need that in my
It ain't
Lord
what you
of the
thought.
Rings.
It's what you're thinking.
This
It's what you're
isn't-
thinking. Amazon gonna give it to you. Game of Thrones style Lord of the Rings. That's what we're gonna get.
I don't need that in my Lord of the Rings.
That's what you're gonna get.
I don't want it.
Live in your universe. Live in the real universe now. So
Yeah.
what's gonna happen? We're gonna see Baron and Luthien, doggy style. We're gonna see. Don't squint your eyes at me.
I don't like what I'm hearing. Don't just stop. I don't like any of this.
All the news has been bad, hasn't it?
Yes.
It's all been bad.
Yeah.
Now you know you're going to get a TV MA Lord of the Rings.
Ish.
What about dragons?
Gross.
Getting it on. Got to get these dragons.
Well, they don't need a notice, a
Lord of the
casting
Rings
notice for dragons being...
is going to beat Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones had dragons growing up. We've got grown-up dragons.
All right. Weird. Ish.
Wings flapping.
Ew.
Flapping everywhere.
Yeah, great.
What situation are they going to be in where there's going to be naked people, period?
I don't know, and that's what, like, drives me batty.
And this is clear. This is extra casting. Like, this isn't like, oh, maybe Galadriel will be taking a bath. And
they're gonna fight.
Oh, keep talking.
They're gonna fight like a group of like naked people on horseback.
Oh, you think it's gonna be naked on horseback?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of something ridiculous.
That's bad for the goose and the gander.
Yeah, right.
I don't like either one of those.
No.
They may have invented pants, humanity, so we could ride horses.
Yeah.
First thing, ugh, this horse.
No
he,
good.
he liked me. I get on top.
Oh, no.
10 minutes later, don't do it. Ugh, say not worth it.
Oh.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Go back in your mind. Reset your mind. Restore point 48 hours before.
Okay.
What do you know about Cuties?
It is a... before I watched the film, I knew it was a French film. And there were young girls in it. And Netflix promotion of the film, their poster, was done in such a way that got a lot of people really mad about it and wanted to cancel Netflix, because it
You can't cancel Netflix.
well,
It's uncancelable.
but that's
on
what they
TV.
wanted, because it depicted girls and they felt a sexually obscene way. And Netflix apologized.
Why? Because their booties are out?
I haven't seen the poster in question.
Here it is.
So,
I like
I'm not
how when you
sure.
said that, you immediately turned. We have to move the TV in the studio, but
Right.
you immediately looked over your left shoulder. There's the poster.
Okay.
Now, we're going
Yeah.
to talk about this,
Yeah.
obviously, but now restore your brain from 48 hours later. Having seen the film, you know this is not this. The guy that did this did not watch the movie. Clearly, he does not understand.
Yeah, right.
And I say he does not understand the significance of the end of the film, which this image is taken from.
Right,
That's
right.
not the part that the movie was like, yeah, this.
Yeah, right.
But if you are like, oh, what's this film? Okay. Oh, okay, I'm going to do this. This is great. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Amy, who is a Senegalese Muslim little girl who's probably about, I think she's 11. Her and her family have just moved to this particular area of Paris. I don't know where they lived previously. And she's new at school. She wants to make friends. There's this group of kids that does dance competitions, and she really wants to be friends with them, but it's not easy. She has two younger brothers who she kind of has to look after. She finds out that her father is getting married to a second wife. Her mother is not very happy about this, but she has to pretend like she is.
They are Sufi Muslim.
Okay.
That's Senegal, Gambia. That's the general religion over there.
Okay. But Amy is really angry with her father and resentful, understandably, and she kind of doesn't want to have any interaction with him at this point. But she befriends these girls, in particularly, I think her name is Angie. and who is I think she might be Latinx, and she lives in her building, and she actually kind of gets
well. I've had this explained to me, and I've forgotten the whole thing. But there's because we're talking about Spain and Mexico are different, right?
Yeah.
So we don't really know because we never dig into her backstory.
Well,
but she could be from Spain, but she could also be from Latin America or South America, and so there's Hispanics, which evokes Hispaniola. So I mean, I'm not correcting you because I don't know, but I'm just saying be aware of the distinctions between Latin people, Hispanic people, Spanish people.
Okay,
it's complicated.
I don't know.
It's complicated.
But anyways,
Texas. Sorry, we'll get there.
Wow. So Amy kind of slowly becomes friends with these kids, and she starts dancing with them, and she's seen some videos on the internet where there are older women dancing explicitly or twerking or doing some other sort of things, and she's teaching these moves to her friends, and they enter a dance competition, and that's a big part.
She changes their lives
of the film.
She opens this dance group way up.
Yeah. And maybe another part that's kind of minor is we learn very early on that Amy just kind of steals things randomly.
She's a bit of a kleptomaniac, an acquirer.
Yeah, and she's not exactly completely honest about things, and towards the end of the film, she does some things that she's probably not very mentally stable, and but that's not it's addressed somewhat, but probably could have been addressed more. But anyways, that's basically what the film is about, and it's the struggle between her conforming to her Senegalese roots and learning to be a woman in a Senegalese household, and or not,
yeah.
or kind of her burgeoning sexuality and trying to explore what it means to be a young woman, and doing dancing, which she's discovered she really enjoys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the gist of it.
I think that's a good gist. Before we watched this or decided to watch this, and I kind of read up on it, I didn't know anything about this. Like everyone who signed that change.org petition.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
But I'm willing to admit that. I thought it was a documentary.
Oh, I think I thought that for a while too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was one of the misconceptions I had previously.
And, we will get to the political controversy, but there has been one to the point where Netflix, you don't expect Netflix to have a spine, right? Mm-hmm. But Netflix apologized for their poster, which I think is proper because it's just not a good poster, number one, but it is, apart from the context of the film, it is offensive. Mm-hmm. So they did that. The movie is still on Netflix.
Yes.
And I have to imagine, since it's so controversial, people are watching it, but it has been excluded from the top 10 lists. It's not in the trending nows or the hot right nows. You have to dig to find this on Netflix now, but it is still there, which I think is important.
Yes.
Because I think it's something, I'll just give my review away. I recommend that people see this movie. Mm-hmm. I think it is a not great movie, but it is a good movie. And what excites me about it is it's called Mignones in French. Yeah. It's directed by Maimona Doucouré, who is Senegalese herself, and it's based on her own experiences as a refugee kid. Mm-hmm. I don't know if she's in a dance troupe.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
But I know, but she has said in interviews that she also wanted to emphasize this idea of over-sexualizing young women and not pointing the finger at anybody in particular,
right? But
just saying that this is real and this exists.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what people can't handle.
Yes.
And I think that that's what, when you hear about, people charging into pizza places with guns, asking to see the basement, and there's no basement. And this sort of like fervor that was reserved only for England. England is way ahead of us on this, as they are on many things. They've been crowing about pedos for years, and now somehow that has made its way over here. Birthed on 4chan, the beating center of pedophilia on the internet, somehow paradoxically produced this movement of QAnon, this conspiracy theory that there are pedophiles eating children in the U.S. government. And so that's what's behind this. It's grassroots insofar as like when a little bit of crabgrass grows on a totally empty field. These are loud voices that don't represent the majority of people and Americans. And just to say, I think that like child abuse and child abduction is terrible. But if you look at the figures, people who abduct children are their parents. That's who abducts children.
Yeah.
That's the vast majority of people who abduct their children.
Or it's somebody who is a friend of the family. It's somebody the kid knows.
Let's not blow a serious problem out of proportion. That helps no one.
No.
So that's where, there's a controversy over this film. And I would just say to people, see it. It's not going to turn you into a pedophile monster.
No.
It is not necessarily like a great film. It is a first film by a non-white director. And what I love about this...
director.
Yeah, non-American director.
Yeah.
What I love about this film is you're not going to see this story anywhere else. If they had made it like track car racing instead of dance competitions, nobody would have said boo. And they would have been like, wow, she really wants to race these RC cars or the little trigger, remember the trigger on the track cars? She wants to race these cars more than she wants to go to her father's second wedding? Come on. But instead, people flip out over this thing, which is like young girls booty popping, and doing all this stuff in these dances. And I would say, do you know what TikTok is?
Yeah.
There are millions of hours of girls booty pop dancing on TikTok, and the president is, but nobody's trying to cancel TikTok. And the point that Doucouré is trying to make in the film is that this is everywhere, and she is, she's not, she's in her mid-30s, so even farther back, she experienced this as a child when she was growing up. This is what happens when the internet exists.
Right.
And you have a culture like ours, and I can't speak for France, but you have a culture like ours, which is unwilling and unable to talk about sex with our children.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of it.
That's what we get. That's why people are reacting to it like this. That's what I'm shocked to find that we sexualize young girls in this establishment.
Yeah, and it's like, but that's always been a thing. But I think we need to, as a country... I don't know why we still hang on to our Puritan roots in some ways.
I think that's a real cold take, but go ahead and continue.
I'm just saying, where else does it come from that we're so we can't talk about sex with our kids? Where else does it come from?
I don't know. You think like French moms and dads are like, awesome, let's talk about sex. So
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, clearly the French, I think, as a whole, as a culture, are more comfortable with sex than Americans are.
Yeah, this breezed through like the French film festivals. It even breezed through Sundance, and nobody said boo.
Well, and the director even got an award at Sundance for this film.
Yeah, but now the criminal district attorney of Tyler County in Texas has indicted Netflix on a charge of distributing lewd content.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to go anywhere, but it sets an interesting precedent in that you have a company based nominally out of California that can shoot movies all over the world. And so how do you indict a company that distributes digital content through satellites and TV, cell phone towers?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're under arrest, Netflix.
Right.
Put your digital arms out. We're putting cuffs on them.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. Well, and then just I don't know. This is not. I think they're trying to basically insinuate that this is like child pornography, and I don't.
It's not.
I don't agree with them. It's not. None of the young girls have sex.
No, they don't have. No,
They don't.
no. But let's be fair and let's be honest here.
Yeah.
This is made by a. So, you and I have seen French films,
Yeah.
and we both are like, you got to go that hard.
Yeah. Sometimes.
You don't. Where's the line stop between depicting adult sexuality and maybe giving a little extra juice to the people watching it?
Right.
Only Ava Green knows the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about this film is that it's frank about these kids who are just kids. They're just, they're enjoying each other. They're breaking each other's balls metaphorically about, dumb teen stuff. I love the scene. By love, I mean I was slightly horrified, but you could see this happening. I love the scene where the one girl finds like a used condom.
Yes.
Because they hang out in parks and
Yeah.
and train tracks and stuff. And she blows it up and she's like, sticks it in her shirt. And she's like, whoa, check it out. Whoa, I got big boobs. And they're like, and they're all like, oh my God, did you touch that condom? You've got AIDS now.
Yeah, right.
And then we cut to them like brushing like with soft soap like her tongue, and
Yeah.
she's like, we got to get it out of there.
I know.
And they don't know what they're talking about because
No.
they're children, but also
Yes.
we have such bad education about sex everywhere on earth. Like that could have been a short film and nobody would have said anything. But then later on the girls like learned some gyrating moves, and you could have done it. This is my criticism for the film.
Okay.
Other than the story structure, which is not very good.
No.
You could have done it in a way where you suggest that they are doing what they're doing without doing the standard, here's what a camera does when a girl, a sexy woman is dancing.
Right. Right.
For example, they are in competition, I guess, or they think they are, with this older group of
Sweetie
girls.
Swags or
Yeah,
whatever
the
their
Sweetie
name.
Swags, yeah.
Yeah.
And they watch a video of theirs online, and they're, in real life, those girls are probably like 20-year-old, like professional dancers. And so they're doing like the boop boop, and they're doing the boops and the
Yeah.
twerks and the flips and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's like, okay, if this came on in between sketches on Living Color, which it did, ask
Yeah.
Jennifer Lopez,
Right.
nobody's going to say anything. But then the girls go, I want to be like that. Let's do that. And you could suggest that like, oh, that's what they do. But instead, the same camera angles and things and focuses on bodies that you would get in an adult video like that are
Yes.
used for the girls.
Yes.
And I know I'm positive the intent was to drive home the idea of, I want you to feel uncomfortable because
Well, you do.
if you are uncomfortable that your 11-year-old is trying to emulate 20-year-old like
Yes.
sex dancers or whatever, you should feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
But at a certain point, we get it.
Yeah.
And the movie keeps going.
It
And I don't think
does.
it's for nefarious reasons.
No.
But it has made its point.
And it keeps going.
And you're like,
Yeah. Well, and
another
it's like
sexy dance.
it's like almost like too much too, because it's like, okay, the twerking's in there. All right, we got some very wide splits and like kicking up in the air. Okay, fine. But then like there's like this one point where they're like laying kind of down on the ground. They're almost like humping the ground.
Well,
and
yeah,
I'm like,
that's
what?
This all leads up to this big dance competition that they
Yes.
want to do. And the dance, we never really actually see their whole dance routine like end to end. So
Yeah.
we don't know anything about it. But we get a sense of the evolution of it after Amy introduces like
The twerking and
the
stuff like
adult
that.
moves that she's seen.
Sticking your finger in your mouth. Yeah.
All these sort of rote, like,
Yeah.
sexy baby type things
Yeah.
that presumably she's seen on the internet after she steals her cousin's phone. She's had no
Mm-hmm.
access to the internet, and now she's thrown into this sea of content, and we don't know where she's going on the internet, but she's bringing this stuff back.
Yeah.
And it's like when a child, a 2 or 3 year old that's just learning to talk, is like, you want some more applesauce? Nipple. What? Where did you learn that word?
Yeah.
We don't know what kids pick up.
Yeah.
But they have the opportunity to pick up a lot more now that they are exposed, like everybody is,
To the
to
internet.
everything through
Yeah.
digital devices.
Yeah.
And so I'm not against that, but I think that, parents need to be around.
Yeah.
And her mom is checked out.
She's very checked out.
Because of her depression over their situation. They're poor her husband is going to marry another woman.
Yep.
Also, and I think this is subtle, and I give the credit to the film on this, but do you think that she was like self-medicating a little?
Mom?
Yeah. We never
see that.
We never really see anything. But there's a scene where Amy is, really upset at both her parents, and they're sitting down to dinner, and Mom seems kind of listless, and Mom falls the F out on the ground.
Yeah.
And we never get any indication. This isn't the
That's
blood
true.
in the handkerchief or whatever. But if Mom had been like pounding cold ones all day, and then was sitting down with the kids and just sort of like just falls out, and then she's like, "No, I'm okay. Let's go and have dinner." That's kind of like what I got from it.
Oh, I guess I hadn't thought about that, but that would make more sense, I guess.
Well, if the movie dug more into the lives of characters that weren't Amy, maybe we'd know that.
Yeah, I know.
It's pretty tightly focused on Amy.
It is. It is, for better or for worse. But she doesn't really, she does all these things that it's like she should really get more in trouble with, but I think a lot of
that's another
her
thing.
mom is so, like you said, so checked out. She doesn't even really discipline her.
She stabs a kid with scissors.
Is it scissors or a compass? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Something sharp.
Well, she should have
in
compassion
the hand.
if it was a compass.
Yeah, okay. What?
Still not funny, huh?
I don't.
Compass.
Oh, okay.
Compassion.
All right.
Yeah, you didn't get it the last time either.
Okay. Anyways.
Wait for the third one. Yeah, and also it doesn't help that the movie introduces here and there magically real elements.
Yes.
So she gets a dress that she's supposed to wear to her father's second wedding.
Yes.
And that becomes a focus for all of her bad feelings about it. And at one point we see blood on the dress, blood flows from the dress.
Yes.
And she's just sort of horrified by this, but then she's distracted and she looks back, no blood.
Yeah.
So like, what's going on? Then later at school, she presumably gets her period for the first time.
Well, she went out to do the dance.
The craft style.
Yeah, well, but it's done better in this because so she comes back home and the auntie who's kind of like teaching her how to be a woman sort of thing.
Very traditional Senegalese woman, yeah.
So her
Where are you going with this? Because I was going somewhere. If you're going to interrupt me, you better have somewhere you're going. I'm going to finish my thing and you put your things in where you can.
Okay.
So she that day she has her first period.
Yeah.
So we don't know if that's a psychic premonition
right.
or if it's just that sort of thing is in the air or what.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were talking before about the hump in the ground thing. That's what their final performance has kind of devolved into. Mm-hmm. And we don't know I'm sure they're actually doing that stuff, but we don't know how the dance or their view of the dance evolved into that. And then as they're doing that, she has a sort of reverie and they're like, "Hey, keep dancing. Why are you not dancing? You hump the ground. You got to hump that ground." And she sees confetti that was sort of part of the sort of decorations for her father's wedding and all this. And we don't know if she's seeing the confetti or if this is just a psychological, sort of a representation of something. And she runs off stage to go back to the wedding. So that's the sort of magically real thing. Oh, and then also she floats in the air while she's jump roping at the end. So these are the magically real elements. Now, would you like to add something to the
I just want to say that I think that it was done better in this than in The Craft because, first of all, she's 11. She's not in high school.
Some people are late bloomers, but yes.
Yes. And B, she's not dripping blood onto the floor.
Okay, right.
Okay. And then also with The Craft, I was thinking about this. They said, the other girls were like, "Oh, he did that to us too," or something like that. So did they all... Are we supposed to take from that? I'm talking about The Craft now. That he was mean to all of them, or that they all got their periods in class and he all made fun of them.
I don't know. Maybe this guy's like a good flow Joe kind of guy.
Ish.
If you haven't had your period yet, you just get near this guy, let him sexually harass you.
Yeah. So wow.
We have to erase this show so Dane Cook doesn't do a prequel to Good Luck Chuck.
Weird.
I liked the frankness of a lot of the commentary in this. I would imagine that as a filmmaker, Ducouré is not really religious. She didn't necessarily keep her Islamic
not.
upbringing.
Yeah.
But she acknowledges that it is a huge part of their culture and their family structure.
Mm-hmm.
And so as this wedding is coming up, grandma is going to use this to, or is it grandma or is it aunt? Great aunt?
Auntie. I don't even know if she's necessarily related to
Okay.
them.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So we see them, they don't really go to mosque. Or I guess maybe it's a mosque. Could be one room of a larger building, but like they go to like women's prayer.
Right.
And there's a lot of talk about how you have to be a good woman because there's more women in hell than men.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But then she chose that as a filmmaker to tell a story about a girl who takes a picture of her crotch and posts it on her Instagram.
Oh my
Do you know what
gosh, I know. And she just does not get in trouble for
So
this
I
crap.
like the frankness of that. I like the fact that Auntie has her pegged as like a bad girl who needs to be, whipped into shape, but also is immediately like, oh, we're doing this? Okay. Hey, guess what? Congratulations, you're a woman now. I remember being in your shoes. Suddenly I have a lot of compassion for you. And there are these like roles that the older women know that they need to play. Just as the mom is not happy about this, but she knows that in their society, this is something that happens. And so we don't even get like, it's not like mom flips the table over at the wedding. They go through with it, because that's just kind of the way, that's where we are.
Yeah.
And I like the frankness of the presentation of that.
Yeah, I appreciated that as well. I also kind of liked, like, at the end, when she shows up right before the wedding and she's in her dance competition outfit and, like, Auntie's, like, giving her crap and, like, her mom is just like, don't talk to my daughter like that.
Yeah,
and,
her
like,
mom kind of finally stands up at the end.
And it's like, shoot,
and it's
mom's here. Mom is present.
And it's not a huge, like, it's just more like, I'm asserting control. Thank you. This is my daughter.
Yeah.
And then she tells her daughter, and I think that she's my headcanon, she's a little buzzed for this big momentous day. But she's like, look, you can come or not come. It doesn't really matter. Like, you want to come to the wedding, fine. It's cool with me if you don't come to the wedding. It's okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, where was that mom the whole movie where the daughter was experiencing all these things and was feeling lost? And if this was a movie about teen boys, nobody would care. In fact, have you seen Stand By Me?
A long time ago.
Those boys get to do whatever they want. The movie's rated R. There's a lot of adult things.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Oh, those little boys. Oh, they're such scamps. And that's essentially what these girls are doing.
Yep.
Only it's all sex-focused because that's the pressure that gets put. I remember thinking, like, when the movie ended, I was really mad because it's a fine movie. I don't think it's the best movie of the year, but it's a totally fine movie. I enjoyed watching it, and I'm like, people are scared of this movie, and the reason they're scared is sexism. That's why they're scared. Mm-hmm. They don't want to think about the fact that kids, specifically young girls, junior high and high school, they have to deal with this every day. Mm-hmm. And we don't want to talk about that or think about that. Mm-hmm. Now let's watch another episode of Euphoria.
Yeah, I know. Well, and this is like, and I think you and I talked about this off air too. I think we're now more comfortable with the idea, at least in America, that a lot of teens are.
Are we comfortable?
Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm more comfortable seeing teens in adult situations.
Well, you're seeing 25-year-olds playing teens.
Well, that's true
Euphoria.
too.
Yeah.
But with with Cuties, I think at the least a part of it is the filmmaker is trying to make you feel uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these are 11-year-old girls, and they are trying to emulate these women who are maybe in their 20s or teens or whatever. So it is uncomfortable, but I think one thing that maybe we don't remember or realize is that kids don't necessarily, like, puberty doesn't happen at like 15. Puberty happens at like 11 or 10. So kids are starting to have these, be more curious about sex at that age. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's something that we don't feel comfortable thinking about or recognizing.
Yeah.
And I think we need to get more comfortable about talking about sex with kids and making sure they're educated about it. So, if they find a random condom on the ground, maybe they will know what it is. And
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing: what she was, I think it was,
Look
it
at
was
this
funny,
skinny balloon.
right?
Yeah.
It's funny, right? She thinks it's not a condom because it's pink, and they're like, it could come in any color. But it's like, if I found a random balloon on the ground, I wouldn't like pick it up and stick it in my mouth. But they're kids,
literally
they're dumb.
children. Yeah,
yeah.
And even and one of my favorite characters is that character is Kumba, because she's like she in a lot of ways she's the most outspoken of them. I hesitate to say adult, but she's definitely somebody like, because these girls also, in addition to being confused about sexuality, need like role models and guardians,
Parental
because
guidance.
they need guidance because they are running wild.
Yeah.
But they get into a lot of confrontations with other people, and she's always the one that steps up and is like, all right, we're going to do this. And like, oh, you're going to come in my face? Come on, what about this? And then like, she's really humbled when she does this thing that she thinks is so funny, and they're like, no. And she's like, oh, well, I was just trying to have fun. Yeah, it's cute.
I know.
Have you ever been to a regional dance competition?
I mean, I used to do.
I'm not talking about Tappa Tappa Tappa.
Oh, okay.
I would have killed for Tappa 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 in this film. No, like, just like, modern dance or whatever you want to call it. You go to these things. I used to date a girl who came from a family where all the girls were dancers. Mm-hmm. And so I got dragged to one of these like competitions, and it starts at 5 and up, and the girls are like, tappa tappa doop 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 doop, right? And by the time you get to junior high and high school, you are getting the booty shakes, and you're getting the fly girl, and you're getting the whole thing.
Yeah.
And there's rules about costumes. They would never be able to wear these like halter tops and no navels, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was a couple years out from 9/11, so they all had a patriotic theme, and you bring a flag in at the end, and it's fine. And I'm just watching this like, what? And nobody thinks twice. There was no Q back then.
No.
Maybe Q can do something good. Maybe we'll see less of that, but
Right.
that's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know, my girlfriend's sister was the one in the competition, and she was probably 15 or 16 at the time, and they were doing a tappa 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 because it was more of a technical thing, and they're in Sally Bowles gear.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And so it's just like, you go, well, that's
fine.
That's the thing. That's the deal. That's the, they want to be dancers. That's where they're going to end up. But I'm like, yeah, but there's a 14-year-old whose butt cheeks are coming out of her pants, and nobody, and this is in like rural America, nobody is saying anything.
Yeah, I know. I mean, so I did dance competition, but it was like early elementary school, and I was like tap and jazz, and it was like really, really early on the weekends, and it was a lot. And I only did it 1 year. And my mom can tell you stories too. Like there were rules, like we had to have our makeup and our hair done like a certain way every time. So you imagine like little kids, like my mom did my makeup, and I had a whole ton of eyeshadow, blush, lipstick, and like my hair was like super like 80s teased, like it was ridiculous.
Was it a Debbie Gibson song?
Yeah,
You're doing Tap into Electric Youth. Remember the girl from the Missy videos?
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. She's a professional dancer now. Mm-hmm. She's made her bones on that. But like, don't tell me, she was probably like 9 in that video or something and went on to do stuff, but don't tell me that they weren't doing the same stuff. Like they're just doing what, and part of it is like, oh, did a little kid do what did an adult do?
Yes.
This dog thinks he's people.
I think that's a big part of it, honestly.
This has always existed.
Yes.
And all Cuties did was just point a finger at it.
Yep.
And now all the fingers are pointed at Cuties.
Mm-hmm.
Think about Taxi Driver.
Ugh.
People still look at Taxi Driver and go, what a great film. You go to Jodie Foster, 13-year-old Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
What The Professional.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Why is it suddenly a Senegalese Footloose comes out and everybody loses their minds?
Because they're twerking 11-year-olds, Cal.
How old was Natalie Portman in The Professional?
She was very young, but she wasn't twerking.
She was dressing up like Marilyn Monroe and going, Mr. President.
Yeah, I know. But that apparently was okay for some reason.
Right. I'm pointing out.
Double standard.
Yes.
I know.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Seems like you agree with me.
I do agree with you.
Would you recommend this?
I would. I think that it's worth a watch. Like you, I did not like the ending. I'm a little frustrated just because I really would have liked for I'm okay with ambiguity, but like the whole thing with the dance competition and her friends, and then her father's wedding too. Like neither of them really gets resolved in a satisfying way.
Not the fact that she tries to murder Yasmin, and we never find out what happens
yes.
with that.
Yes. And she, the Iman who visits is like, oh, there's no devil here, but doesn't suggest also, and I don't necessarily.
He doesn't have those answers. I loved that scene.
Yeah.
Because at this point. Well, there's a lot of things that are unexplained, and I don't know if it's like a cultural thing that I don't understand or they're just trying to set something up. But we get to a part where she's stabbed a kid at school.
Yeah.
She's done all this. I think they know that she stole the cousin's cell phone.
And she took a picture of her privates and like posted it online.
Well, I don't know if they know that because I doubt her mom is on Instagram or whatever. But the
kid knew that. So
but they take her to the mosque, and they're throwing holy water on her. They're doing a thing where she's like stripped down, and it's supposed to be like normally it would be a humiliating kind of thing, because she's being baptized or administered to against her will. But she's just in a little kid like top and like her panties or whatever, and then she starts like
doing the dance,
like sort of like
that.
Vibrating and like and we don't know if it's a dance or if it's something that I don't think it's like a religious or cultural thing because the mom and the grandma are like, what's going on here? Like,
well, then I thought that she actually went into doing the Cuties dance.
It might have been, but like she was. I mean, like Christina Aguilera is soaking wet in her video, and she's twerking around, and it just there was a weird. Clearly, this movie is trying to criticize religion as well.
Yeah,
but there's a weird parallel there, and then later on, like they bring the imam in because she's got a demon, and he goes and he talks to her, and he's like,
he does a prayer with her.
Yeah, and then he goes back to the mom, and he's like, so there might be like a thing here where you need to like. Talk to your daughter, but like she's not possessed. Like there's no demon here. This is just more of a. And I thought that it was like for all the criticism of the religion, like the director is also saying like this is just a guy. It's his job to be a cultural leader and like a religious leader, and he's like, don't go crazy with this. Like I've seen this. You take a girl and you put her in the West, America, France, whatever, and things get weird. And I thought that was really even-handed.
I think it was too.
I knew, though, near the end, as we were going into the end of the movie, I knew that they weren't going to be able to land this, though. They've set up all these things. We don't know necessarily sometimes what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
It's intractable. She seems hell-bent on misbehaving. And I knew that they weren't going to find a way to really... to bring this in.
Yeah, it's just disappointing.
And it's a cute ending, but it doesn't satisfy anything. As she's jumping higher and higher, like we should see like gendarme cars with lights on pull into her street to question her about pushing a girl into the Seine.
Yeah, right.
But ultimately I'm better for having watched it.
Yeah.
I think I learned a lot.
I think so too.
And I think that it's an important conversation to have.
I agree.
And I don't think that now that everybody hates it, it's actually going to be able to start that conversation, sadly. But I think it is an interesting mile marker on the road to trying to figure some of this stuff out.
Mm-hmm. And I think it is an important conversation to have.
And the music's cool.
Yeah.
It's the track they dance to is by a musician named Nico Noki. And it slaps. Mm-hmm. And yeah, a lot of the music's really great. Yeah. And just for that, I think you should probably check it out.
Yeah.
Oh, we did it.
We did do it.
We did it. So yeah, Cuties. I say give it a watch if you can still find it. Hurry, watch it quick.
Yeah,
because these cuties are rotten on the counter.
I don't know. I think. Wow. I think.
I brought it back.
You did. I think it'll be on Netflix because it is it's still Netflix.
We'll
but,
see. We'll see at the results of the indecency trial in Texas.
I mean, freedom of speech,
or the
what the heck?
But not for child pornography, though.
But it's not child pornography.
It isn't. But 4chan and 8chan still exist.
Yeah. Well.
America,
Yeah.
America. Now, if they were eating giant cheeseburgers while twerking, that would have been fine. We've seen
What?
this. We know.
What? What are you
Hardee's
talking
and
about?
Carl's Jr. have a new burger. It's called the Mignones Burger, and you can check it out now.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, I know. Of course not. I'm being
doing?
incredibly, bitterly facetious.
Okay.
Join us on social media, where we are often incredibly facetious and cynically facetious. Join us at Twitter and Facebook at Just Enough Trope and Instagram, and we're on there. Also follow us on these listening services. I don't know why I'm trying to be Don Corleone.
I don't know either.
But you can follow us, and if you give us a like and a rating and a review. I believe in America.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm the guy at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, my God.
You want to join in? Want to be Kay?
I don't know how to join in.
By being Kay. That's a girl in those movies.
Wow, thanks.
I had an abortion.
Thanks a lot.
I got an abortion,
great.
Cal.
Yeah.
And the abortion was the 5 stars you're supposed to give to our show.
Oh, my God. Wow. Okay.
Well, now I know not to write a pastiche of The Godfather, because you will not be in for that.
How do I be Kay? She's just mad at her husband, and then she gets an abortion. It's not exciting.
Or you could be, audio doesn't work so good, but you could just be like, I'm Kay. And then the sound of a door closing in your face.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like sound effect 62.
Yeah, right. And I'm gone now. Yeah.
But she'll be back.
Yeah.
For Godfather 2, the abortion one. We're going to be talking about some cool stuff in the future.
Okay.
You know, we've got our fun Black Widow reading series.
Yes.
We talk about comic books. We talk about The Vision or whatever. Don't ever let go, Paul Bettany. You need this. But as events in the world reach an apotheosis, the highest point in the development of something, a culmination or climax.
Yeah, thank you for the definition.
Politically, we're trying to keep you entertained.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In the old days, by which I mean 6-7 months ago, people would come on and they'd go, "Hey, chuck us $1 on Patreon. You know, we're just trying to get you through your day."
Uh-huh.
And I always heard that and thought, maybe you can have my money. I don't know. But how cynical is that? Is that really what people are out there doing? I know that under capitalism, we all have jobs that don't fit us and we don't really like. But without how did this get made, would people really be throwing themselves off bridges? It just gets me through my day.
I don't know if that's
That depresses
necessarily
me.
true.
That depresses me to a high degree.
Okay, all right.
That being said, we're beginning a initiative on this show to talk about things that are not necessarily like, oh, it's Ghostbusters, you love it.
Uh-huh.
But talking about things that are informing you, entertaining you, and hopefully opening your mind up, as well as pleasing you.
Uh-huh.
Within the sphere of pop culture.
Uh-huh.
That's our plan. That's what we want to do.
Yes.
We want to leave you with those 4 things. Leave you thinking, leave you striving to find more, leaving you happy.
Right.
And I guess distracted can be the other. The other, if you just want something to get through your day, I guess that's valid.
Yeah.
But don't just, because I do that. I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube is my TV, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I always say I don't watch TV, but I kind of do. And sometimes, like, you get done with the video, and then it goes, next up, and you're like, what does it matter?
Oh,
And then,
my goodness.
Oh, well, so the thing about Q is,
Wow.
and you're just watching, and you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want our content to be like that.
No, I don't either.
I want to be excited about what I talk about. I want the audience to be excited about what we're talking about.
Yes.
And so we're going to try to bring that to you as we continue through these difficult times with our eye on the horizon for the sun to rise.
Yeah.
If you want to contribute to that, you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/justenoughtrope. Help us keep the lights on here. And also, we're available for your comments, your questions, your suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
You can just email us at justenoughtrope@gmail.com.
Yes.
And let us know what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Because
we're open to suggestions.
Yeah, we're open to suggestions.
Yeah.
Talk about cuties. For crap's sake.
Oh my goodness.
Probably talking about the Transformers War for Cybertron next week.
Right.
What else? What other show can give you those kind of swings?
Yeah, right. That's a good point. Not a lot. So
What other show would define apotheosis for you?
I don't know.
Mark Maron has ever said apotheosis?
Possibly.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. There you go.
He's not doing good.
He's not.
He's doing better. He has turned to. Why are we talking about Mark Maron?
Mm-hmm.
We're already going like from an hour 40. His partner died
Oh no.
in the spring. Remember that?
No,
Like
I
as
don't.
this whole thing was ramping up.
No.
They
I
had
knew
been
that,
together for a
but-
while. I think that she
Yeah.
was like a screenwriter or
Okay.
a filmmaker.
Okay.
And it was, we don't know. I mean, it was an undiagnosed blood disease or blood issue.
Oh boy.
It was very sudden.
Okay.
And then his cat monkey died.
Oh.
And then also he's quarantined.
Yeah.
So, he's been going through it. And what he did was he turned his pain into content.
Mm-hmm.
So unhealthy. So unhealthy, isn't it? But it's not unhealthy if his audience loves him, wants to hear it, and wants to encourage him.
Yeah.
That's that weird, it's weird that the young girls have to navigate this weird world of sex on the internet. But maybe the plus side is that you can shout into the void and the void will actually shout back.
Yeah.
In a good
Right.
way.
Right.
So we're not asking for that. We're doing okay.
Yeah.
But I want to be the shouter that shouts back.
Yeah. Right.
And so if you need help or support or you want to hear something on the show, let us know. And we want to connect with you on social media through justenoughtrope@gmail.com. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will be here for you in these times and in the future and next week. And until then, we're signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.